friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell so you can be notified of when I post a new video, and go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it. Today I want to talk about the idea of building a meditation practice. Now this is something that I am actively doing. So some of these tips are from personal experience and some of them are from the experiences of others, and some of them are just good tips in general. So I want to talk about some common mistakes that are made in beginning building a meditation practice, what meditation is, why you should do it, and why you should do it consistently. That is a big thing for me. I have trouble with meditating on a regular basis just because either out of laziness or I just get busy. Both are valid reasons for me. So yeah. Anyway, so the first mistake that I see a lot of people making when they're starting out with creating a consistent meditation practice is the idea that meditation is only one thing. A lot of times the idea of meditation can be overwhelming because there's really only one type of meditation that is put out there in pop culture or online that we really see, and that is the idea of meditation being a sit down and shut up practice. Now, I am a firm believer that that is not the only type of meditation out there, and that is not a meditation that is going to work for everyone, myself included. Sometimes I can do that whole sit down, be quiet, quiet the mind, just sit in peace and the environment. Sometimes it's great, sometimes I can do it. Other times I absolutely cannot, and I cannot make my monkey brain be quiet. And when I first started building my meditation practice, that was something that I really had to wrestle with, is the idea that meditation doesn't have to be that. And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with as well. But there are so many different kinds of meditation. There is that meditation where you essentially sit down and shut up. I know that's not what you actually call it, but that's what I equate it with. But you sit down, or you lay down, you relax, you get into a comfortable position, and you take your deep breaths, and you try to quiet your mind. That is one type of meditation. There is also a mindfulness meditation, and this is something that I have found I can do basically when I'm doing almost anything. And something that comes to my mind is something that Joanna DeVoe had said. I'll leave her link in the description. She actually has a podcast and a YouTube channel, The Hippie Witch. And I don't know if it's exactly the same, but she has said that she practices mindfulness while doing things like the dishes. And instead of just, mindlessly doing the dishes and letting your mind do whatever, you focus on what it is that you're actually doing. So you pay attention to the scrubbing and the washing the dishes and just being mindful of what you're doing and the world around you. That is an easier thing for me to do because it gives me something to focus on, and that is a good way to help build that mindfulness practice. Another type of meditation that I like to do, and I don't know, I am not a professional at this. I'm not an expert. I don't know if any of these are considered legitimate types of meditation. I know mantra meditation and mindfulness meditation. I'm pretty sure those are. But something that I do, or that I like to do, is movement meditation, because again, it gives me something to focus on while still having the ability to keep my mind quiet and focused on something that isn't my monkey brain running around. So what I do for a movement meditation is I actually like to do yoga or any sort of stretching, because for me it's a form of mindful meditation. I'm being mindful of my body. I am focusing on my breathing and making sure that I'm breathing properly. I'm making sure that I'm stretching properly, and it gives me a moment to really center and ground myself. And for me, that's what a lot of my meditation practice is about, because sometimes I just have excess energy in the form of energy built up in my muscles or emotional energy, and it just needs to be dispelled. And for me, a form of movement meditation really helps me in that aspect. Now, mantra meditation is a meditation type where you are repeating a mantra, and you can either be repeating it in your mind or out loud. And the one that I find to be most common and that is most prevalent in pop culture is the idea of meditating and repeating the word Om. So people are like, Om. I don't do mantra meditation because I prefer my meditations to be quiet, because normally there's a lot of noise around me on a regular basis, and I like that time to just be quiet and relax. So mantra meditation is not normally something I do. I have tried mantra meditation, repeating a mantra in my head, and it just didn't work for me, because I repeat it in my head and then I get lost in my mind and my brain just goes off and does whatever it wants. I know someone else that I follow here on YouTube. I will leave her link in the description below. Rebecca, she had talked about in one of her videos doing a meditation on her word for the year. And I believe her word for the year is temperance. And she was talking about doing a meditation on that, using a sort of mantra where she breathes in, I am, and then breathes out, temperance. I am temperance. So that's another way that you can use mantra meditation if that's something that works for you. Another type of meditation that you can do is guided meditations. Now, I'm going to put a plug here. I actually have 2 guided meditations in my shop if you want to check them out. One is a grounding meditation, and one is a self-love meditation that is inspired by the rose quartz crystal. Link in the description below. But guided meditations can really be helpful for someone who has trouble visualizing or who just has trouble focusing. It gives you instructions essentially on what to do, how to breathe, and it gives you and your mind something to focus on. And I actually really enjoy guided meditations, and I feel like they help me in those sort of visualization practices, and they can really help to deepen your meditation experience. Now, there are a lot of different reasons why I believe you should be doing a meditation practice and why I am trying to create a consistent meditation practice. Some of these have spiritual reasons, and some of them have just your mundane physical reasons. And for a lot of people on a spiritual level, meditation really helps them connect with either themselves, their subconscious, the divine, the world around them, the energies of the earth. There are so many different spiritual reasons that people might practice meditation, and each spiritual reason is valid on their own. For me, building a meditation practice it's about the spiritual in the fact that it helps my focus, it grounds and centers me, and really just makes sure that I'm in balance. But a lot of my meditation practice actually has to do with the medical benefits. And fair warning, disclosure, like always, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional. I have to say this because of the FDA, that you should not do any of this without consulting a physician, all of that fun stuff. All of the links for the things that I'm saying will be in the description below, but do not take my word for any of the medical stuff. Seek the professionals. So a lot of the medical benefits that have been shown for a consistent practice of meditation include stress relief, anxiety relief, depression relief, emotional health in general, self-awareness, focus, increased sleep, and a reduction in brain fog. Now, as someone that has anxiety, depression, OCD, and PTSD, these are things that I struggle with, and I am hopeful that building a consistent meditation practice for myself will help to alleviate some of these symptoms in conjunction with standard clinical therapy. Now for the hard part. How do you build a consistent meditation practice? I have a couple of tips, and these are tips that I try to follow myself. I try to take my own advice, but these are tips that really help in building consistency with anything. And One might apply to you and one might not, that's fine. But the first tip that I have in building a consistent meditation practice is to be consistent about it. Schedule out a block of time in your day and meditate. So this could be any time that you have a little bit of extra time. When you meditate, especially when you're first starting to build a meditation practice, you don't need to meditate for 20, 30 minutes or an hour. 5 minutes is just fine. So if you have to wake up 5 minutes earlier in the morning to meditate, wake up 5 minutes earlier. If you want to meditate on your lunch break at work, meditate on your lunch break. You want to meditate before bed, do that. But you need to be consistent in when you meditate and the length of time that you meditate when you first start. If you have to, schedule it out in your schedule. I have a planner because I work from home, but I also pencil in my meditation and my yoga to make sure that I get it done. Does it always happen? No, but I'll talk about that in a second. My second tip for building a consistent meditation practice is to find a meditation style that works for you. Now, the whole sit down and quiet your mind type of meditation is not going to work for everyone. And you might need to do some experimentation with different forms of meditation to find one that works for you and that really benefits you in whatever way you need. So don't be afraid to experiment with the different styles of meditation and even mixing and matching and combining them if you need to, because the whole point of meditation, in my opinion, is not to make sure that you're doing it right, but to make sure that you're doing it actively and consistently in order to receive those benefits from the meditation that you're trying to get. Now, my third tip for building a consistent meditation practice is don't beat yourself up if you miss a day or two or a week. Don't beat yourself up if you skip days or if you miss days, and just try to ease yourself back into the practice. Now, for me, as of the point of recording this, it's been at least a week since I have done my meditation practice. I have had a sick child. I have not felt well. My boyfriend has been sick, and life has just been life. You know, things happen, and you can't beat yourself up over the fact that you missed a day or two or a week. You just need to ease yourself back into it and don't get discouraged. Sometimes creating consistency is hard, especially if you tend to be a busy person or if it's not something that you're used to. So be easy on yourself and give yourselves breaks if you need to as well. Another tip that I have in building a meditation practice is to use something on a consistent basis. Now, what I mean by something is like a meditation shawl. Or mudras. So I think that's how you say it, but they're like finger positions. So when you see people meditating in movies or something, they have like their hands like this. Then they're sitting like this with their hands on their knees. There is studies that show that using the same thing over and over again can help to train your brain, essentially. So for me, I have meditation shawls. I use a meditation shawl regularly whenever I meditate. I also make them, so another shameless plug, I have some available in my shop. But for me, using a meditation shawl on a regular basis during my meditations helps to remind my body and let my spiritual body know that it's time to meditate, it's time to relax, we're going into this with a purpose, and it helps you enter that meditative state faster because it's a physical reminder to the body and the brain of what's about to happen. It sort of reminds me of, you know, when you think about lemons, for example, you think really hard about lemons and what they taste like. Your mouth starts to water because your body knows that you're getting ready to, or your body thinks that it's getting ready to eat something really sour, so your mouth starts to water. It's sort of the same principle with your brain and meditation. I know that's a really strange comparison, but it's accurate. So let me know in the comments below what you do for your meditation practice, and if you have any tips or tricks or advice for anyone who is just now beginning to build a meditation practice, or who may have been doing one for a long time, maybe they just want to switch it up. Leave your comments and tips and tricks in the comment section below. And until next time, bye for now.